I'm shining and it looks like a highlighter, but it's actually sweat. It has been so long! Oh my goodness, when is the last time I made a video? It was like weeks ago. I know I said I would get one up every week, but then finals and I painted my room, which you probably can't tell on camera because it's just a different shade of purple. My room is actually quite the disaster zone right now, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's not bothering me at all. Anyway, it has been so long since I've made a video and I've missed it so much because honestly, who wouldn't rather be watching movies than writing finals? I got so excited that I just forgot to introduce myself. I am Chandani and welcome to my YouTube channel. Was that good enough of an intro? Can I go on now? Okay. I'm so excited because this is the first time I'm reviewing a movie that's actually still in theaters. If it was up to me, I would just see every single movie that comes out. The dream. The good theater that plays Bollywood movies, aka the theater that sells samosas, is an hour away from my house. This one was totally worth the drive. Brothers, starring Akshay Jr., Jackie and Jackie. So, Brothers is an official remake of the Hollywood film Warrior. When I heard they were remaking this movie, I was like, why though? Like, it was a decent movie. Yeah, I've seen it a million times, but that's mostly because shirtless Tom Hardy. Sorry, I was just thinking about shirtless Tom Hardy. It wasn't a movie that I thought was like, wow, this needs to be remade a million times, it's so legendary. It was actually just a very kind of film to me. But of course I was still excited because I'm just a small child and easily excitable. Then I thought about it and honestly that movie makes a whole lot more sense in Bollywood than it does in Hollywood. It's very Mahabharata reloaded. It just makes so much more sense to transfer that into like the Indian culture. And if you don't know what the movie's about, you can check out the trailer here. Or if you just want to stare at Akshay and Sid, that's fine. So let's quickly go through the high and low points of the story slash plot slash whatever. Now this was both a drama and an action film. Now the first half of the movie is like backstory, and if you didn't drown in your own tears by the end of the first half, the action is in the second half. The pace is very slow and there isn't a whole lot of dialogue, so I can definitely see how somebody could get bored. I mean, I didn't, but I can totally see how you could. It was much better than Citizen Kane. I'm just gonna leave that there. Seriously, why is that movie even a big deal? So since there's very little dialogue, you do have to rely on some physical aspects to sort of unravel the characters, I guess. A good example of this is in their fighting styles. Monty and David fight so differently from one another. Monty is angry all the time. He's all force driven by anger, and it's such a good representation of his character. David is much more patient and tactical. He waits and tires out his opponents. The fight scenes are much more than just fight scenes. Now, plot-wise and I guess directorial-wise, as far as continuity editing goes, I think that some of the scenes could have been slightly more coherent. Like, there could have been a lot more unity between some shots. I mean, the story is still the story, you still get that, but the plot is choppy and it disturbed me almost as much as the guy that was sitting next to me. The guy beside me wasn't leaning on me and breathing on me. I was like, excuse me, I don't know you. Maybe we need to do a video on movie-going etiquette. There is a lot of symbolism in the movie, which obviously you need if there's not going to be a whole lot of dialogue going on. In the beginning, when David is teaching his class, since he's a physics teacher, he mentions gravity, which is also symbolic of him and his brother, because he mentions that it's the same force acting upon the two objects. You see where I'm going with that. Cinematography. The cinematography was nothing innovative, but it definitely matched the tone of the movie. Karan Malhotra has a different style between both of his films. They're both quite different from each other, just visually. I mean, like, they both kind of center around man pain, but visually they're different. So, acting. Let's start with Akshay Jr., Siddharth, and another angry young man avatar. While he's done the whole angry, brooding kind of thing before, this one had a whole different vibe to it. Just everything from body language to facial expressions. I honestly do think that this is Sid's best role to date. Well, he didn't have a lot of dialogues, which is sort of a challenge for him because I do feel like that's where he generally excels. Well, he excels in romance, and romance films often have a lot of dialogue in them. His acting felt a lot more relaxed and natural in this one, and I don't think it's because he's genuinely an angry young man. I think it's just sort of a comfort level kind of thing. Or maybe because he built up all that muscle, he didn't feel like himself anymore. I don't know. It just felt like he understood the character a lot better this time, so he could play it a lot more honestly. Akshay and Jackie Shroff were like my dream cast for this movie. In my mind, when I heard they were remaking it, I was like, Akshay needs to be in it because his form would be so good. And then Jackie Shroff because, yeah. And then I wasn't really sure about the rest of the characters. I know I wanted Sanu Sood in it and he wasn't in it, but it's fine. It's fine. It is amazing that they got him for this because of the way David is supposed to be. David is more about his form and all of that stuff, and Akshay's form is just everything to me. Akshay's kicks are just perfect, of course. Jacqueline Fernandez. It was so good to see her in this Avatar and she played it so well. Jennifer Morrison was like the best part of the original one. She totally did the character justice. Of course, there isn't a whole lot that I can say about her because, you know, she was not in a lot of the movie. Why wasn't she in more of the movie? Jackie Shroff, as I mentioned before, was my dream cast. This doesn't belong in acting, it's more of a character development kind of thing, but I do wish that they showed him as less of a drunkard at some point in time. Show them why Shefali Shah's character Maria fell in love with him in the first place, because like, he does not look like a nice person. It's just as something that you could compare him to. Like, you could see where he started and where he ended up and why he ended up like that. Because, I mean, if you're gonna make the movie that long, you might as well throw that in there. Maybe it could have gotten boring if they did that. Anyway, whatever. Shefali Shah was not in a whole lot of the movie. It was a movie about 3 dudes. She is not one of the 3 dudes, unfortunately, because she was so good in this. She's just the emotional heartstring of the movie. You sympathize with her every time she's on screen. Just tears everywhere. Comparing it to the original, sorry, I was thinking about Tom Hardy again. They added the whole storyline of the mother, who wasn't in the original one, and I think that's honestly something that it was kind of lacking. You see these 2 boys and they're at war with their dad and you assume it has something to do with their mother, but you're not really sure, and you don't really know what happened to the mother. It really tied up some loose ends for me. Now, this might kind of be a spoiler alert. Okay, yeah, I'll call it a spoiler alert if you don't know who wins in the end of it. If you don't know who wins at the end of the movie, skip. In the original film, both brothers had a reason that they were fighting each other. Now, they kept it the same because in David's case, he was fighting for his daughter who needed surgery, and that was the same in the original, but in the original one, Tommy, he was a military man and his friend died, so he was fighting to win money to support his dead friend's family. So when you're watching the fight, you're like, oh my god, I don't know who I want to win. No, I want the older one to win. No, I want the younger one. I don't know. So much pressure. But they took that out in Brothers. They changed Monty's reason for fighting. So then you don't feel so bad when he loses in the end. Welcome back to those of you that skipped that. Okay, music. It wasn't like, oh, we're fighting dance break! I don't think that they used the music to its full potential, because the way that the Brothers anthem can flow so perfectly into Gaye Ja, and then they didn't have it in the end. I was really expecting that to come back, and I know that it's very cliche Bollywood, and I get the whole trying to be different thing, but I also think that it could have worked as sort of an emotional cue in the movie. I still cried. Probably just would have cried a little bit harder. Overall though, it was a good amount of songs. It wasn't just like, it wasn't overbearing. So to summarize, Tom Hardy. I do think that this was a much better film than Warrior. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I always like to know what you guys think of these. Right now, go down there and tell me what you thought of the movie if you've seen it already, or tell me if you're gonna go watch it and tell me what you buy from the movie theater as a snack. Tell me if you get stuck next to an annoying person too. And I know that I did 2 Akshay films back to back. You can watch my last review here. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you can go ahead and like it. If you really enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to my channel. And if that is still not enough me for you, then you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. I gotta change the names. I need to make them all unite. And while you're on Instagram, you can go ahead and check out the one of us that you don't see on screen. Okay, I've been talking to my camera for hours now, so I'm gonna leave. I don't know how I feel about this. Thanks for watching.